So let us understand today OOPS concept, object oriented programming in a structure, how we can work with OOPS in Java. So we are having some concept like you can see basic concept of OOPS without involving Java and basic Java syntax and API relevant to OOPS and how to use various concepts of OOPS in Java. So look at here. Can you just have a glance on this question now first of all? So which language use the procedural programming methodology? Procedural programming methodology. So what do you think? What is the answer now? D. Okay, so D is the right answer here. Now next, which language uses the simple sequential programming methodology? It's a Fortran, right? Because C was structured and all. So it is a Fortran, formula translation. What is the acronym for OOP? What do you think? Object oriented programming, right? So A is the right answer for that. Next, the acronym for the procedural language COBOL is what? COBOL. What is that? Common object. Yeah. So common business oriented language, right? Common business oriented language. Which language is object oriented programming language? Of course, none other than Java, right? So Java is here object oriented programming language. Now next. So programming model, what are the different type of programming models we are having in Java? Sorry, basically what are the type of programming models till now we are having? So if you can see here, first is the procedural programming model, second object oriented, third is a component based programming model. So we can say C and all is a procedural programming model, and where if you can see this procedural steps here, what we do there, divide each problem into smaller problems and then we solve it. They're using a specified models that act on data. So we can say C is a procedural programming model, right? Now next, if we talk about the object oriented programming model, is what perceives the entire software system as a collection of objects. So here we are treating as an object and contains objects that have attributes and behavior. So because every object in our real life are having some attributes and it is having some behaviors, some states are there, some identity are there, right? So Java, C++, these are the object oriented programming model, right? What is the component based programming model? So it is have component which are real piece of code, allows software component to communicate with one another. So like if you know, like in Visual Basic we are having com and decom, component and distributed component, while in Java we are having also a component programming, that is the Java Beans, Java Beans and Enterprise Java Beans easily. Okay, so these are the component and this is a distributed component in Java technology. But it talk about the Visual Basic. So there is a VB using com and decom, right? So component and distributed component here. So what is the benefit of using component? If we are making some component, we can reuse. So this is a reusable piece of codes, okay, which can support scalability. It can be more scalable. If you look for distributed component, we can also do that. So we'll see in Java Beans and AJV what exactly it is. And okay, so the benefit of component is what? Let us take one example. There is a find and replace. Find and replace almost in all application we find. What do you mean? Find and replace coding has been done separate or with each and every application? No. They have made one component and they have plugged with Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Notepad. So it is working like that. So it is a component, right? And that is the component based programming. Next we have to understand OOD concept, object oriented analysis and design. Why we should go for OOPS concept? What are the benefit? So there are some benefit of the OOPS concept if we are using. First is the realistic modeling. What it mean? Realistic modeling is telling what? The earlier we are using the procedural programming and now we are using OOPS concept. So OOPS is having more accuracy than procedural programming. And it match with the more real world, right? So that's what realistic modeling. And we look always for some accuracy and all. Next is the reusability. We are writing one program and if we want to use, we have to, like, we can reuse. We need not write from a scratch and we have to use it, right? So that is the reusability features is there. Resilience to change. If any stuff we need to change, we didn't need to go through what, we can go to that place directly, we change and whole system will get reflected, right? That is what resilience to change. So these are the three benefits which compel us to use OOPS concept, okay? See this advantage and features of OOPS concept. First of all, it is having a concept of encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, polymorphism. These four guys are smart enough and tell you a lot of things and compel you to use OOPS concept, because if you want to focus your data, you can do it. So that is what abstraction. If you want to hide your data, okay, you can do it. That is what encapsulation, hiding the data. Some complexity is there, so we can hide it. We need to expose and system will be look good. So that is what encapsulation. Inheritance, if you're having one object, if you want to create new one, you need not to write the whole system again, you can just inherit. So that is what inheritance we are having. Polymorphism, like let us say one object I have and that object wants to work differently in different situations, so we can say it is a polymorphism. I can give you one example here. Let us say you are having automatic washing machine, okay, and now this is one object, automatic washing machines. Now there is a some mode, like there is a dry mode, there is a, okay, wash mode, rinse mode, something like that, right? Spin mode. So there's a different modes are there, right? Now if you're going for dry mode, okay, it is drying your cloth. If you're going for spin, it is spinning your cloth, washing your cloth. One object working different in different situations, right? That is what polymorphism. We can create such object by using OOPS concept in our Java programming.